Your life is not shaped by your intelligence, your talent, or your intentions. It is shaped, moment by moment, by what you give your attention to. If your attention is scattered, your life will be shallow. If your attention is controlled, your life becomes meaningful. This audiobook is not about motivation. It is not about inspiration. It is about discipline. You will learn why attention is your most valuable asset, why it is constantly being stolen, and how to systemize your focus so every day trains your mind toward purpose instead of distraction. Control your attention, and you control your life. Chapter 1. Your attention is your life. Your life is not an abstract idea. It is not a theory. It is not something you will figure out later. Your life is what you attend to. Every moment you are awake, something has your attention. A thought, a screen, a task, a worry, a desire, a memory. You do not experience life directly. You experience what your attention selects. That's the key. If you want to understand why your life feels shallow, rushed, or directionless, do not analyze your personality. Do not analyze your past. Look at your attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows, always. This is not philosophy for debate. It is a mechanical truth. Attention is the gatekeeper of experience. What passes through that gate becomes your life. What does not pass through does not exist to you. You have a choice, but only at the level of attention. Most people believe they are choosing their lives. They are not. They are choosing what to look at, what to listen to, what to think about for the next few seconds. Those seconds accumulate. Days form. Years harden. A life appears. That's the system at work. When attention is scattered, meaning cannot form. Meaning requires continuity. It requires sustained contact with something long enough for depth to develop. Scattered attention prevents this. It fragments your experience into disconnected pieces. You feel busy but empty, informed but unclear, stimulated but dissatisfied. It's not about intelligence. It's not about opportunity. It's not about passion. It's about discipline. Modern life does not destroy meaning by force. It does not need to. It destroys meaning by division. Your attention is pulled in 100 directions, none of them long enough to matter. Notifications, opinions, updates, endless options, none of them evil on their own. But together, they form a system of fragmentation. And a fragmented mind cannot build a meaningful life. Where your attention goes, your life follows, always. Most people live in reaction. Something appears. They attend to it. Another thing appears. They shift. There is no center, no hierarchy, no priority, just stimulus and response. Over time, this trains the mind to expect interruption. Focus becomes uncomfortable. Silence feels threatening. Depth feels heavy. You have a choice. You can continue reacting, or you can start directing. Directing attention is the first act of a meaningful life. This requires accepting a difficult truth. No one is coming to protect your attention. You don't need their permission. Not from your employer, not from your family, not from society. Attention is your responsibility. If it is wasted by default. That's the key. Every meaningful change begins when you stop asking how you feel and start deciding where your attention goes. This chapter is not asking you to quit anything yet. It is asking you to see clearly, to recognize that your current experience of life is the predictable outcome of how your attention is being used. Look at a typical day, not what you intend to do, what you actually do. Where does your attention go in the morning? How often is it interrupted? How long does it stay on one thing? How quickly do you escape into stimulation when discomfort appears? This is not for judgment. This is measurement. Rule 1. You cannot change what you do not measure. Most people avoid this step because it removes comforting illusions. They want to believe they are unfocused because life is complicated. The truth is simpler. Attention has not been trained. It has been consumed. It's not about complexity. It's about control. Where your attention goes, your life follows, always. A meaningful life requires attention that stays. Attention that returns. Attention that does not panic when stimulation disappears. This is not a personality trait. It is a trained capacity. And training begins with one principle. Attention must be treated as a finite resource. You do not have unlimited attention. You wake up with a fixed amount each day. When it is gone, it is gone. If you spend on trivial inputs, there is nothing left for what matters. This is not a moral failure. It is arithmetic. That's the key. Once you accept that attention is limited, you stop wasting it casually. You stop pretending you can multitask meaning. You stop expecting clarity to appear in a noisy mind. You have a choice. Spend attention deliberately, or lose it by default. Most people confuse meaning with excitement. They chase novelty, new ideas, new goals, new distractions. But meaning does not come from novelty. It comes from depth. And depth requires time plus attention. It's not about more. It's about longer. This is why modern life feels fast and empty at the same time. Speed without depth produces nothing that lasts. The mind schemes. The soul starves. Rule 2. Depth is a function of sustained attention. No sustained attention, no depth. No depth, no meaning. This is why this audiobook begins here. Before habits, before systems, before goals. Attention comes first. Always. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Always. You don't need to change everything at once. You need to change what you allow your attention to attach to. That is the lever. Pull it consistently, and the rest follows. This chapter is the foundation. The next chapter will explain why your attention is under constant attack, and why this is not an accident. You will learn what you are up against. But understand this now, before moving forward. Your life is not out of control. Your attention is. Control that, and meaning becomes possible. Chapter 2. Distraction is not an accident. Distraction is not a personal failure. It is not a lack of willpower. It is not a character flaw. It is a system designed to capture your attention, hold it, and convert it into profit. While you scroll, click, react, and consume, your attention is being extracted, measured, sold, redirected. You are not the customer. You are the resource. If you don't control your attention, something else will. That is not a warning. It is a description of how the world works. Most people blame themselves for being distracted. They say they are lazy, undisciplined, broken. This belief keeps them stuck. It hides the real problem. The problem is not weakness. The problem is exposure without defense. That's the key. You are exposed to more stimuli in one day than previous generations faced in months. Your nervous system did not evolve for this volume. Your attention did not evolve for this intensity. And yet you are expected to perform, decide, and live meaningfully inside it. You have a choice. Remain unprotected or build defenses. Distraction works because it is engineered. It exploits predictable human tendencies. Novelty-seeking, social validation, fear of missing out, discomfort avoidance. These are not bugs. They are features of a human mind. Systems are built around them. It's not about temptation. It's about design. Every notification is a hook. Every feed is an infinite loop. Every recommendation is calculated. The goal is simple. Keep your attention moving, never settling, never resting. A restless mind consumes more. If you don't control your attention, something else will. This is why distraction feels compulsive. Not because you're weak, but because the system is strong. It is persistent. It does not sleep. It adapts. And it does not care about your meaning. Rule 1. Never personalize a systemic problem. Once you see distraction as a system, you stop negotiating with it emotionally. You stop saying, "I'll just check quickly." Systems do not respond to intentions. They respond to structures. That's the key. Most people try to fight distraction with motivation. They fail. Motivation is internal. Distraction is external and constant. The mismatch guarantees defeat. It's not about trying harder. It's about building barriers. Consider this rule. What is always available will always be used. If distraction is one tap away, it will win eventually. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. Attention degrades under constant access. You have a choice. Reduce exposure or accept erosion. This is why discipline must begin with environment. Before habits, before schedules, before goals, you must shape what is around you. You must remove unnecessary inputs. You must decide what does not deserve access to your attention. Rule 2. Defense precedes discipline. Without defense, discipline is exhausted. You spend your day resisting instead of directing. Resisting drains energy. Directing builds momentum. If you don't control your attention, something else will. Look at how often your attention is interrupted without consent. Sounds, alerts, messages, suggestions. None of them ask if they matter. They assume access. And every time you allow it, you train your mind to expect interruption. That's the key. An interrupted mind cannot go deep. A shallow mind cannot build meaning. This is not philosophy. It is cause and effect. Most people live in a state of constant partial attention. Always available, always reacting, never fully present. Over time, this creates a background sense of anxiety and dissatisfaction. Nothing feels complete. Nothing feels enough. It's not about anxiety. It's about fragmentation. Rule 3. What fragments your attention fragments your life. This chapter is not telling you to reject technology or withdraw from the world. It is telling you to stop being naive, to recognize that attention must be protected like any valuable asset. You don't leave your door unlocked and blame yourself when something is stolen. You build a lock. Attention is no different. You don't need their permission. No app, no platform, no culture gets automatic access to your mind. That access is granted or denied daily. If you don't control your attention, something else will. In the next chapter, you will learn why motivation cannot save you from this system and why only structure can. You will stop relying on how you feel and start building something that holds. This is not about fighting distraction. It is about outgrowing it. Chapter 3. Stop trusting motivation. Motivation is not a foundation. It is a fluctuation. It rises. It falls. It disappears without warning. If your life depends on motivation, your life will be unstable. This is not pessimism. It is observation. Motivation is an emotional state. Emotional states are temporary. Attention cannot be sustained on something meaningful using temporary fuel. Discipline replaces motivation. Systems replace emotion. That's the key. Most people wait to feel ready before they act. They wait for clarity, energy, inspiration. This waiting is not neutral. It trains the mind to associate action with emotion. Over time, the mind refuses to move unless it feels good first. This is how attention becomes fragile. You have a choice. Act when you feel like it, or act because it is scheduled. One of these builds a meaningful life. The other builds inconsistency. It's not about desire. It's about structure. Motivation is useful at the beginning. It gets attention pointed in a direction, but cannot keep it there. Only structure can do that. Only systems that remove choice can sustain focus over time. Discipline replaces motivation. Systems replace emotion. Rule 1. Never build a life on feelings. Feelings change faster than circumstances. If your attention follows your feelings, it will wander constantly. This wandering feels like freedom at first. Later, it feels like confusion. Meaning requires staying with something after novelty fades. Motivation leaves when difficulty appears. Systems remain. That's the key. A system is a rule you follow regardless of mood. It does not ask how you feel. It does not negotiate. It simply runs. When systems are in place, attention is guided automatically. This is how professionals operate. This is how serious work is done. Not by enthusiasm, but by routine. You don't need their permission. You do not need to feel inspired to protect your attention. You need to decide once and remove the daily debate. Decision fatigue is eliminated by pre-commitment. Rule 2. Decide in advance what your attention will do. Most people decide in the moment. The moment is biased. The moment is emotional. The moment is influenced by whatever is loudest. Systems bypass the moment. Discipline replaces motivation. Systems replace emotion. Consider this. If attention had to be manually controlled every minute, no one would succeed. That is why systems exist. They conserve mental energy by automating behavior. It's not about willpower. It's about design. A simple system might be a fixed time each day where your attention goes to one task, without exception. Same time, same place, same rules. No choice. Over time, attention adapts. Resistance decreases. Focus becomes normal. That's the key. Motivation tells you when to start. Systems tell you when to show up. Most people overestimate how much motivation they need and underestimate how much structure they lack. They add more inspiration instead of removing uncertainty. Rule 3. Reduce decisions to increase focus. Every decision about what to do next drains attention. Systems remove those decisions. This frees attention for depth instead of direction. You have a choice. Keep chasing motivation, or build something that works without it. Discipline replaces motivation. Systems replace emotion. This chapter is not telling you to suppress emotion. It is telling you to stop letting emotion dictate your life. Emotions can inform. They should not control. Meaningful lives are calm on the surface and structured underneath. In the next chapter, you will learn why silence is not optional and why attention cannot recover without it. Systems guide attention. Silence restores it. Motivation fades. Structure remains. Chapter 4. Silence is the foundation of focus. Silence is not a luxury. It is not a preference. It is not optional. Silence is a requirement. Without silence, attention cannot recover. Without recovery, attention weakens. And a weakened attention cannot hold anything meaningful for long. Silence is where attention recovers its strength. That's the key. Most people misunderstand silence. They associate it with emptiness, boredom, or inefficiency. They believe silence is wasted time. This belief keeps them overstimulated and mentally fragile. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is resistance. It is the absence of input, and the absence of input forces the mind to confront itself. That confrontation is uncomfortable, so people avoid it. They fill every gap with noise. Audio, screens, conversations, thoughts fed by external sources. You have a choice. Fill every moment or allow space. If you never allow silence, your mind never learns to stay still. It becomes dependent on stimulation to feel normal. Over time, this dependency becomes addiction. Not dramatic addiction, functional addiction, the kind that looks productive but erodes depth. Silence is where attention recovers its strength. Rule 1. Attention cannot heal in the presence of constant input. This is why rest alone is not enough. Sleep helps the body. Silence helps the mind. If you wake up and immediately consume noise, your attention never resets. It starts the day already scattered. It's not about relaxation. It's about recalibration. Silence recalibrates your baseline. It reminds your mind that it does not need constant stimulation to exist. This is a trained state. It does not happen automatically in modern life. That's the key. Most people think their inability to focus is a concentration problem. It is not. It is a recovery problem. Attention has been overused and underestimated. Rule 2. What does not recover eventually breaks down. When attention breaks down, focus feels forced. Stillness feels unbearable. Depth feels exhausting. This is not because you're incapable. It is because you're depleted. You don't need their permission. You do not need permission to be silent. You do not need to justify it. Silence does not need an explanation. It is not a statement. It is a practice. Silence is where attention recovers its strength. Intentional silence means scheduled silence, not accidental quiet, not waiting until life calms down. Life does not calm down on its own. Silence must be inserted deliberately. Rule 3. If silence is not scheduled, it will be replaced. Replaced by noise, by input, by distraction that feels harmless but accumulates damage. This does not require isolation or retreat. It requires boundaries, specific times where nothing enters. No audio, no scrolling, no passive consumption, just you and the absence of input. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. Thoughts will surface. Restlessness will appear. This is not a problem. This is exposure. You are seeing the state of your mind without anesthesia. That's the key. Silence reveals what noise hides. Many people avoid silence because it confronts them with unresolved thoughts and emotions. But this confrontation is necessary. A mind that cannot sit with itself cannot focus on anything else. It's not about peace. It's about stability. Silence trains attention to stay instead of flee, to remain present without seeking escape. This ability is foundational. Without it, every task becomes a negotiation with discomfort. You have a choice. Escape discomfort instantly, or train endurance. Silence is where attention recovers its strength. Over time, silence changes your relationship with stimulation. You stop needing constant input. You stop panicking when nothing is happening. Focus becomes easier because your mind is no longer desperate for novelty. Rule 4. A calm mind is a trained mind. This chapter is not asking you to meditate in a traditional sense. It is asking you to remove unnecessary input and observe the result. Observation without interference is enough. Silence does not require technique. It requires restraint. Restraint from filling gaps. Restraint from reacting immediately. Restraint from escaping boredom. That's the key. Most people fear boredom. They confuse it with meaninglessness. In reality, boredom is a transitional state. It appears when stimulation is removed and before depth forms. If you endure it, something else emerges. Clarity. Clarity requires quiet. Silence is where attention recovers its strength. This chapter establishes a rule that will apply to everything that follows. You cannot build focus on a noisy foundation. Systems will fail if attention is exhausted. Discipline will feel oppressive if the mind never rests. Silence is the base layer. In the next chapter, you will learn how to train attention like a muscle, using repetition, resistance, and recovery. Silence provides recovery. Training provides strength. Without silence, training collapses. With silence, focus becomes possible. Chapter 5. Train attention like a muscle. Attention is not a trait. It is not fixed. It is not something you either have or don't have. Attention is a capacity, and like any capacity, it responds to training. What you train daily becomes effortless eventually. That's the key. Most people treat attention as if it should work automatically. They expect to focus on demand for long periods without preparation. When they fail, they assume something is wrong with them. This assumption is false. The problem is not ability. The problem is conditioning. Attention strengthens the same way the body does, through repetition, resistance, and recovery. Remove any one of these, and progress stops. Rule 1. No repetition, no adaptation. If you only focus when you feel like it, attention never stabilizes. Sporadic effort produces sporadic results. Consistency is what trains the nervous system to sustain focus without strain. Short, daily sessions matter more than long, rare ones. What you train daily becomes effortless eventually. This is why intensity is overrated. Intensity feels productive. Consistency builds capacity. The mind adapts to what it does repeatedly, not what it does occasionally. It's not about pushing harder. It's about showing up. Rule 2. Resistance is required for growth. Focus only grows when attention is asked to stay longer than it wants to. The moment discomfort appears, training begins. This discomfort is not a signal to stop. It is the stimulus. Most people quit at the first sign of resistance. They interpret discomfort as damage. In reality, it is adaptation starting. That's the key. If you always escape when focus becomes uncomfortable, attention never strengthens. You teach it that relief is one click away. Over time, it becomes fragile. You have a choice. Endure resistance briefly, or remain weak indefinitely. What you train daily becomes effortless eventually. Rule 3. Recovery is non-negotiable. Training without recovery leads to burnout. This is why the previous chapter mattered. Silence is recovery. Without it, attention never consolidates gains. It remains tense and reactive. Recovery is not laziness. It is part of the system. A simple structure works, a fixed daily focus session, followed by intentional silence. Same time, same length, same rules, no negotiation. That's the key. This is how attention learns to trust the process. It stops bracing. It stops resisting. It knows when to work and when to rest. Most people attempt to train attention with willpower alone. Willpower depletes quickly. Systems preserve energy. Rule 4. Fix the duration, not the outcome. Do not measure success by how much you accomplish. Measure it by whether you stayed with the task for the full time. Attention does not care about results. It cares about staying. Results follow later. It's not about productivity. It's about capacity. Short sessions remove intimidation. 10 to 20 minutes daily is enough to begin. Over time, this becomes easy. Then it expands naturally. Forced expansion backfires. What you train daily becomes effortless eventually. This principle applies to everything. Reading, thinking, creating, problem solving. Attention adapts to the demands placed on it, provided those demands are consistent and recoverable. You don't need their permission. You do not need to explain why you protect this time. Training does not ask for validation. It asks for compliance. Most people fail because they overcomplicate the process. They search for techniques instead of committing to repetition. Techniques are secondary. Adherence is primary. That's the key. Train attention like a muscle. Expect discomfort. Respect recovery. Trust repetition. In the next chapter, you will learn how to build a daily attention system that removes choice entirely. Training works best when it is automated. Structure turns effort into routine. Chapter 6. Build a daily attention system. Meaning does not come from freedom alone. It comes from structure. Unstructured freedom leads to drift. Drift leads to distraction. Distraction leads to fragmentation. Fragmentation destroys meaning. Structure creates freedom. Structure creates meaning. That's the key. Most people believe structure is restrictive. They associate it with rigidity, loss of spontaneity, or control imposed from the outside. This belief keeps their days chaotic and their attention scattered. Structure is not a cage. It is a container. A container holds what matters in place. Without it, everything spills. You have a choice. Let your days unfold randomly, or design them deliberately. Meaningful lives are not built through constant decision-making. They are built through systems that remove unnecessary decisions. Every decision you eliminate preserves attention. Preserved attention can be used for depth. Rule 1. Decision fatigue is an attention leak. Every time you ask, "What should I do next?" you drain focus. By the end of the day, attention is depleted not by work, but by choosing. A daily attention system solves this mechanically. Structure creates freedom. Structure creates meaning. A system is not a list of goals. Goals are destinations. Systems are processes. A goal gives direction. A system produces results repeatedly, regardless of mood. It's not about ambition. It's about execution. The simplest and most effective tool is time blocking. This is not scheduling tasks. This is assigning attention. You decide in advance what your attention will do and when it will do it. That's the key. Time blocking removes negotiation. When the time arrives, attention goes where it is assigned. No debate. No emotional check-in. Rule 2. Attention follows the clock, not motivation. Fixed routines matter more than flexible plans. Flexibility invites delay. Delay invites distraction. Fixed routines train compliance. Same time, same structure, same expectations. This repetition conditions attention to settle quickly. Resistance decreases because the pattern is familiar. Structure creates freedom. Structure creates meaning. Non-negotiable focus periods are the backbone of the system. These are blocks of time where attention is protected completely. No interruptions. No multitasking. No exceptions. Short is fine. Consistent is required. Rule 3. Protect small blocks fiercely. Most people fail by overcommitting. They design systems they cannot maintain. Sustainability matters more than ambition. A system that runs every day beats one that collapses after a week. It's not about intensity. It's about durability. A daily attention system also includes boundaries. Start times, end times, clear transitions. Without boundaries, focus bleeds into everything and eventually collapses. That's the key. Work ends at a set time. Silence begins at a set time. Consumption is limited to specific windows. These rules prevent attention from being pulled endlessly. You don't need their permission. No one needs to approve your structure. No one needs to understand it. Structure is personal. Its purpose is not to impress. Its purpose is to protect. Structure creates freedom. Structure creates meaning. Many people resist structure because it exposes avoidance. When time is unstructured, avoidance hides easily. When time is structured, excuses are visible. This discomfort is not a flaw. It is feedback. Rule 4. What you avoid reveals what you need to train. A daily system brings clarity. You see where attention resists. You see where energy drops. This information allows adjustment. Without structure, everything feels vague. The goal is not perfection. The goal is predictability. Predictability allows depth. Depth allows meaning. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently. A well-designed day has rhythm. Focus, then rest. Effort, then silence. Input, then output. This rhythm keeps attention balanced. Without it, days feel chaotic even when productive. Structure creates freedom. Structure creates meaning. Most people underestimate how calming structure is. When attention knows what comes next, anxiety decreases. There is no constant scanning for options. The mind can settle. Rule 5. Calm follows clarity. This chapter is not asking you to micromanage every minute. It is asking you to remove randomness from what matters most. Attention deserves a plan. Design your day around 1 or 2 priority focus blocks. Place them early when attention is strongest. Protect them with rules. Everything else adapts around them. That's the key. A daily attention system is not rigid forever. It evolves, but must exist first. You cannot refine what is not built. You have a choice. Continue relying on intention, or install a system. Meaning is not accidental. It emerges when days are aligned with values and attention is protected by structure. In the next chapter, you will learn why subtraction matters more than addition, and why removing distractions accelerates everything you are building. Structure holds. Removal sharpens. Chapter 7. Remove before you add. Most people approach improvement backwards. They think they need more habits, more tools, more techniques. They pile on complexity, believing it will produce results. It does not. A meaningful life is built by removing what doesn't matter. That's the key. The human mind has limited attention. Every addition competes with something already there. New habits, new tasks, new obligations are not neutral. They steal focus. They fragment attention. They create mental noise. Subtraction restores clarity faster than optimization ever will. Rule 1. Before you add, remove. Look at your day. Identify every input, every obligation, every source of noise. Ask yourself, does this serve depth? Does this build attention? If the answer is no, remove it. Do not negotiate. Do not defer. You have a choice. Keep everything in drift, or remove what is irrelevant and create space. Most people fear removal. They equate it with loss. But what they call loss is often distraction masquerading as necessity. Removing it is not deprivation, it is liberation. A meaningful life is built by removing what doesn't matter. Rule 2. Attention is finite. Protect it by subtraction. Subtraction works faster than adding another habit because it eliminates competing demands. It clears the mental field. It allows what is essential to grow. Without clutter, depth becomes possible. With clutter, even disciplined effort falters. Consider your digital life. Every notification, app, and social feed claims attention. Not because it is meaningful, but because it is designed to capture it. Removing access is not radical. It is defensive. It is necessary. You don't need their permission. You do not need society, peers, or culture to approve your boundaries. Your attention is yours to protect. Subtraction is the rule. Addition comes later when the foundation is stable. Rule 3. Removal precedes creation. This principle applies beyond digital space. Relationships, routines, commitments all require scrutiny. What does not produce insight, depth, or alignment with purpose is noise. It does not belong in your schedule. It does not belong in your mind. A meaningful life is built by removing what doesn't matter. Subtraction is active. It requires deliberate evaluation. Passive avoidance does not count. Silence and stillness reveal what is unnecessary. Focus on one task. Observe where attention drifts. Identify the distractions. Remove them. Repeat daily. That's the key. Most people resist removing things because they confuse busyness with productivity. Being busy feels purposeful. It feels socially acceptable. But busyness without focus produces nothing that endures. It creates stress. It fragments attention. It erodes clarity. You have a choice. Add more complexity and become busier, or remove distractions and become capable of depth. Subtraction also trains attention. Every time you remove a distraction, You reinforce the rule. Focus is more important than stimulation. Attention learns to stay. Depth becomes easier. Your mind strengthens. Rule 4. Attention is trained through removal. Subtraction is measurable. You can track what has been removed. You can track the clarity gained. You can observe the difference in energy, in focus, in output. Systems grow stronger when the unnecessary is eliminated first. It's not about willpower. It's about design. The process is simple. Identify what steals attention. Remove it completely, temporarily, or permanently. Observe the effect. Repeat. No negotiation. No exceptions. Discipline is built in the act of removal. A meaningful life is built by removing what doesn't matter. In the next chapter, you will learn how to take this principle further. How doing fewer things, doing them deeply, creates impact that addition alone cannot. Removal prepares the mind. Depth transforms the outcome. Remove first, then act. That's the rule. That's the path. Chapter 8. Do fewer things, but do them deeply. Most people believe that progress comes from doing more. More tasks, more projects, more hours, more busyness. This is a lie. Depth over volume. Always. That's the key. Meaning does not come from quantity. It comes from attention applied fully, consistently, and without distraction. One task, fully attended, produces more results than 10 half-finished ones. 1 hour of real focus outweighs an entire day of shallow busyness. Shallow busyness creates anxiety. It creates emptiness. It creates a sense of motion without direction. Depth produces fulfillment. Depth produces clarity. Depth produces mastery. You have a choice. Scatter attention across everything, or concentrate it on what matters most. Rule 1. Attention is the multiplier of effort. The more focused your attention, the greater the return. Spreading attention thin guarantees minimal impact. Your brain is not designed to multitask meaningfully. Attempting it fragments both focus and energy. Depth over volume. Always. Focus is trained through repetition. Depth is achieved by resisting distraction. Every time you allow attention to wander, you teach your mind that shallow engagement is sufficient. Every time you return it to the task, you reinforce presence. Rule 2. Depth is built like muscle. Incrementally, consistently, deliberately. Start small. Choose one task each day that deserves your full attention. Schedule it. Protect it. Eliminate interruptions. Treat it as non-negotiable. This is the system of deep work. This is the engine of meaning. It's not about speed. It's about attention applied. Most people fear depth because it exposes inadequacy. Long, focused engagement reveals gaps in knowledge, skill, or preparation. This is not a reason to avoid depth. It is the reason to pursue it. Depth forces growth. Shallow work masks deficiency. You have a choice. Avoid discomfort through shallow action, or face difficulty and grow. Depth over volume. Always. Rule 3. Completion matters more than quantity. Do not chase the illusion of doing it all. Instead, choose critical tasks. See them to completion. Apply focus, reflection, and revision. Let results compound over time. One fully executed project teaches more than dozens abandoned halfway. Systematize focus. Train attention. Remove distractions. Schedule deep sessions daily. This is how meaningful outcomes emerge. It is methodical. It is repeatable. It is non-negotiable. Depth transforms your experience of time. Shallow work stretches hours, but produces nothing lasting. Deep work compresses effort, producing impact that is visible, measurable, and internally satisfying. Depth over volume. Always. Most people misinterpret productivity. They equate motion with progress. They confuse busyness with accomplishment. Real progress is invisible until completion. Real progress is only apparent when attention has been applied deeply, fully, without compromise. Rule 4. Measure focus, not activity. Choose fewer tasks. Protect them fiercely. Immerse fully. Do not allow interruptions. Say no to the irrelevant. Withdraw attention from anything that does not advance purpose. This is not optional. This is necessary. Depth over volume. Always. The habit of deep work trains the mind. Resistance decreases. Focus becomes natural. Completion becomes easier. Anxiety decreases. Clarity grows. Satisfaction emerges. You don't need their permission. No one assigns deep work. No one validates sustained attention. You decide. You apply. You execute. You observe. You repeat. This chapter lays the groundwork for alignment. Once attention is trained and depth is habitual, your actions can be directed toward purpose instead of mere productivity. In the next chapter, you will learn how to align attention with purpose, ensuring every action produces meaning. Depth over volume. Always. Chapter 9. Align attention with purpose. Purpose is not found. It is not revealed in a moment of insight. It is not discovered by chance. Purpose is constructed. Meaning emerges from alignment, not excitement. That's the key. Your attention is the instrument of purpose. Where it goes consistently, what it returns to day after day, defines the trajectory of your life. Random attention produces a scattered life. Directed attention produces a meaningful one. You have a choice. Allow your attention to drift, or deliberately place it where it matters. Rule 1. Purpose is the pattern created by repeated attention. Most people search for purpose externally. They wait for calling. They hope for inspiration. This is ineffective. Purpose is internal. It is the result of repeatedly focusing on tasks, relationships, and projects that align with core values. Meaning emerges from alignment, not excitement. Excitement is temporary. Inspiration fades. Motivation fluctuates. Alignment sustains. Alignment produces continuity. Continuity produces meaning. It's not about novelty. It's about repetition. Begin by identifying your values. Be precise, not vague aspirations, not ideals. Specific, actionable principles that guide decisions and attention. Write them down. Refer to them daily. Let them determine where attention is placed. Rule 2. Values direct attention. Attention produces life. Next, evaluate how your attention is currently used. What you spend hours on reflects your true priorities. If your attention is scattered across distractions, misaligned projects, or trivial obligations, it signals a life drifting. You cannot pretend otherwise. Observation is not judgment, it is measurement. You have a choice. Remain misaligned, or recalibrate deliberately. Once values are clear, attention must be assigned consistently. Daily systems, scheduled focus blocks, and non-negotiable tasks allow alignment to become habitual. Without this structure, alignment is aspirational, not actual. Rule 3. Systems operationalize purpose. Meaning is the byproduct of repeated, aligned action. Each day becomes a vote for the life you intend. Each session of focused work strengthens alignment. Each removal of distraction reinforces it. Meaning emerges from alignment, not excitement. Do not confuse busyness with purpose. Do not confuse stimulation with significance. The mind will seek novelty. The body will crave comfort. These are normal. Do not yield. Direct attention intentionally. You don't need their permission. Alignment does not require approval. It does not require acknowledgement. It is a private discipline practice. Each time attention is returned to what matters, alignment strengthens. Each day compounds. Over time, direction becomes automatic. Depth emerges naturally. Rule 4. Consistency compounds alignment. When attention aligns with values, life stops feeling fragmented. Days feel coherent. Decisions are easier. Work feels meaningful. Rest feels earned. Clarity replaces confusion. Anxiety diminishes. Fragmentation cannot persist under consistent alignment. You have a choice. Scatter your attention across distraction. Replace it deliberately, daily, without compromise. This chapter establishes the principle that focus is not enough. Focus must serve purpose. Depth is necessary, but without alignment, it becomes empty. Alignment converts energy, time, and attention into meaning. Meaning emerges from alignment, not excitement. In the next chapter, you will learn the ultimate rule: deliberate living or default living. You will see why choosing focus every day is non-negotiable, and what happens when you allow life to drift. Alignment is not optional. Attention is the tool. Purpose is constructed. Chapter 10. Live deliberately or live by default. Life is not neutral. It does not happen to you without effect. Every day, every moment, your attention is being spent. If you do not choose where it goes, something else will take it. Default living leads nowhere. Deliberate living builds meaning. That's the key. Most people drift. They react. Alerts, opinions, distractions, obligations. They pull attention in all directions. Days feel chaotic. Weeks vanish. Months disappear. The life they imagine never materializes. This is default living. You have a choice. React to everything, or direct attention intentionally. Rule 1. Conscious control is non-negotiable. Deliberate living requires daily decisions about focus. Not goals, not intentions. Daily decisions about attention. Where will it go today? What will it ignore? What will it protect? This is not optional. Attention determines experience. Experience determines identity. Identity determines life. Default living leads nowhere. Deliberate living builds meaning. Rule 2. Meaning is a daily choice, not a one-time discovery. You will resist. Life is uncomfortable without constant stimulation. Silence feels empty. Depth feels heavy. Resistance will appear at every turn. This is normal. This is expected. This is necessary. You have a choice. Avoid discomfort. Drift. Remain shallow. Or embrace discomfort. Focus. Grow. Build depth. Discipline is uncomfortable. Discipline is inconvenient. Discipline is the only path to deliberate living. Rule 3. Choose discomfort over distraction. Systems, structure, silence, subtraction, depth, alignment, all the tools we have discussed exist to support deliberate living. Without them, default patterns dominate. With them, focus is protected. Attention is trained. Energy is preserved. Life becomes coherent. Purpose emerges. Default living leads nowhere. Deliberate living builds meaning. Every day you choose deliberately is a vote for the life you want. Every day you allow drift is a vote for fragmentation. Time compounds. Attention compounds. Systems compound. Your life compounds. You have a choice. One day at a time. One decision at a time. This is your framework, your structure, your rule. Live deliberately. Protect attention. Apply focus. Remove distractions. Align with purpose. Train depth. Recover in silence. Follow the system. Repeat daily. Default living leads nowhere. Deliberate living builds meaning. If you are listening now, you have already taken the first step toward deliberate living. Do not let it end here. Apply these principles. Build your system. Protect your attention. Align your actions. Subscribe now to the channel to continue this training. New audiobooks, structured lessons, and systematic guides will help you reinforce focus, build discipline, and create a life of depth and purpose. Default living leads nowhere. Deliberate living builds meaning. Start today.